Swimming like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond in the shrimp tank.
Hey everybody, and welcome to the post-show wrap-up video here on the Harrisburg Shrimp Tank with Alex Bazdar with Classic Rock. And I'm your co-host Nathan Abode, alongside co-host Taylor Ranker. And you can find a replay of this broadcast with Alex on our website at harrisburg.shrimptankpodcast.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to our channel on iTunes, the Apple Podcast Store, Google Play, and nationally through the iHeartRadio platform. And earlier, again, we were interviewing Alex, and we got some great tips on, and we'll talk about that here shortly, on being a disruptor in the industry, learning how to take something that was kind of there but not really and make it new to be a disruptor. We have learned about how to incentivize employees and create a culture that really excites people in coming to work every day and being a part of something good. I think we used the term crusade, being on a crusade, right? And really surrounding yourself with a team of individuals that can help move your business forward and being really the best entrepreneur you can be. So again, make sure to catch that broadcast on our website. Before we get into the video wrap-up, Alex, we got a really important question for you that really Taylor wants to ask and lob out to you.
It's one of my favorite questions. There's a rumor floating around. Allegedly, your favorite adult beverage is a good IPA beer. Is that true?
That couldn't be true.
Oh, my goodness.
So
Could
we've
be true.
heard that your favorite adult beverage is a good... Meet the lovely
Oh
shrimp
my
tender.
gosh,
Look
thank
at that.
you
Yes,
so
look at our
much.
lovely
Look at
shrimp
that.
tender.
Thank you.
That is the hottest shrimp in the land. Oh, see you, shrimp
Thank you.
tender.
So remember the plead the fifth
Do I
section?
actually
I'm
get to
pleading the
drink
fifth.
it?
Oh my
Absolutely.
God,
Yeah.
You better drink it, brother.
That's not a
No.
prop, my friend. No, you get to drink it. Okay.
Enjoy.
Yeah. All right. So on our podcast, Alex, we talked about this idea of being on a crusade, right? Touch on that a little bit, because you say you use that term a lot, and so give our viewers a taste of what you mean by that.
Yeah, so we talk about it at work, and we talk about the idea that we are on a crusade, right? And our crusade, it can change from time to time, but most of the time it doesn't change. It is about moving the company forward and being a amazing trade partner for our customers, but also for our employees too. We want our employees to believe in what they're doing and for who they're working for. And so when we talk about the crusade, because crusade as the word itself is a very strong term, right?
Powerful. Very
When you
powerful.
think of crusades, you think of the old times, right?
Yeah.
You think of crusades, right? Very powerful.
The word
and
purpose comes to mind.
purpose.
Purpose.
Exactly. You had a purpose, and so I specifically choose the word crusade for that very reason, right? It's just when you see it, you sound it out. It's very powerful, and it's pushing that point.
And if you catch that, I want to make sure our listeners and viewers, that's part of the culture. Alex
It is.
actually shares that with the employees, everyone. So it's they recognize and they buy into the crusade.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We hope.
You hope, right. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Certainly the goal.
That is the goal.
It is the goal, yeah. So you talked about this idea of speed to market and also calculated risk and really being willing to fail. Failing forward, I think, is a
Fail
term
forward.
that,
Fail
that
forward.
you threw out there. So
Right. You're gonna fail, but just don't try to go backward.
right, exactly, yeah. I mean, we learn as business owners, we learn mainly from our mistakes rather than from our successes, right? So touch on that a little bit. I mean, how do you figured out how to fail forward, and what have you learned from some of your mistakes?
Somebody once said about fail fast, fail forward. I don't remember where I heard that, and I don't know if it's an original term or if it's something that's used. But I like it, and I like to use it both personally and professionally because I'm a big fan of. You have to make decisions, and unfortunately, they're not always going to be the right decisions.
Yep.
But recognizing the wrong decision very quickly will usually never end that bad, right? It's when you go down that road for years, and you know that you've made a mistake, but you have too much pride to admit it.
Right. You'll try and fail 3 times before lots of
Yes.
folks have tried.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Absolutely.
so, I'm a big believer in that, and it's important that everybody around you believes that too, right? Because they're much more willing to push that envelope and take chances and take some ideas and bring some ideas. And so if we're all kind of a believer in this speed to market, we move quick, it's okay when we make a mistake. there's no such thing as pride, right?
Yeah,
Shame is an
absolutely.
important thing to have. Humility.
Yeah.
It just moves an organization very quickly. And when you make a mistake, there's no better time than as fast as you possibly can figure it
Yeah,
out. So,
I love
definitely. Well, and you touched on a little bit about kind of a team around you, and a part of the crusade is having the right mixture of people around you to help move things forward. And you mentioned the original owner of the company really going out of his skin and taking his baby and being willing to open it up and let somebody else do things that he wasn't maybe the best at to help that grow and blossom. And so, share that experience a little bit with us.
yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, when you think about it, it's like, maybe we all aren't the perfect fit for each role, but then when you step back and you really actually like analyze it, you realize it's genius, right? Like, just because you don't know maybe everything, maybe that's the point.
Yeah.
Right? Like maybe the ability to actually say and do is just really unique. And so you just don't find it. Like you really don't find it. And so when you are able to actually work with somebody that has that type of
Egoless.
yeah, it's
Selfless.
Selfless.
It's motivating.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Like you find yourself.
By the way, I can feel it when you speak about your partner, Brad.
Absolutely.
You can tell it's genuine.
He's
Your respect for him is off the charts and in part because of that.
Love him.
Probably his business acumen.
Just love him.
but-
We all are always just one break away, right? Like all of our lives
right.
have always been defined by
Yeah.
that break that you needed. That was my break. I mean,
Yeah.
a guy like that believed in me.
That's
And
amazing.
that was my break.
That's amazing.
Hey,
Well,
baby crustacean.
Yeah.
Finish that, but there's one other important point we want to get to, and that's that fancy new term that's out there, disruptor.
Yeah.
And that's one, we have the luxury of interviewing lots of entrepreneurs. We don't use that term, Alex, very often. I want you to know
Thank
that.
you.
So
Yeah.
that is something that when we looked at your business, talked to you, that actually came to our minds. So can you talk a little bit about that? Because we view you as a genuine disruptor in your industry.
Yeah. So the way that we go to market is very different. It's one of those things that really we talk about, but I don't think a lot of people understand it unless they're working with us. And so how we go to market is awesome. It's a true B2B. It is not a wholesale, you see the commercials and the billboards, wholesale pricing. It really truly is a B2B business model. And so by doing that way, we've been able to build a business with hundreds of designers, architects, general contractors, kitchen and bath dealers in 7 states. And so
you're not
It's
selling one
unique.
countertop at a time.
yeah.
no.
You're dealing
Yes.
with a volume, a higher volume,
Yeah.
really, right?
Sometimes 40, 45 kitchens a day.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. That is a
Which reminds me,
and it's custom too. So it's
Right,
like
this
it's a
isn't
lot
right,
of
this
work,
is
man.
not
We've
right.
got a lot
Yeah.
of good people getting
Yeah.
it done.
that reminds me, Nathan, we had heard this, that the deadline. Is this really true? You've never, ever missed a deadline? Is that possible?
Yeah, listen, I truly believe I don't say it and then in my mind think about, I missed it there and I missed it there. I
Yeah.
mean, I really do believe that in all that I can remember, we've always come through it. We have always. All right, the only time.
Here
the
it
only
is.
Okay,
time-
so maybe
Oh,
one.
man,
the only
we
time
missed this in the Plead the
is
Fifth.
Is weather. When we have a bad snowstorm,
Yeah,
that's the
that's
only
true.
time.
Okay.
Oh, wait, so
That's fair.
hang on. So what you're saying is you put safety first.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean,
Good.
safety is
You're
one of
forgiven,
our.
my
Yeah.
friend.
One
You're
of-
forgiven.
doing a good
Safety,
thing for you.
safety
Yeah,
is a
well
is a
done.
core
Yeah.
is a core value of
Well
Can you
done.
share the
It's
story
amazing.
about there was a story about, I think, a client in Connecticut?
Well,
I think that's about the deadline issue.
Yeah, it was not a client. So we had a project here locally, and we had actually made a mistake in the production process. So it was our mistake, right?
Okay.
And so we needed more material, and we couldn't get it because our vendor didn't have it. And so normally anybody else would have said, "Well, listen, I'm sorry, but we can't finish the project on time. We'll be out in 3 days," right?
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't good enough. Like
Yeah.
I remember this conversation, and I said, "It doesn't matter." I said, "It has to be somewhere in the country." So we make some phone calls, and we find that the product actually is in Connecticut,
And it needs to get to where?
and it needs to come to Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay, gotcha.
And it needs to be installed the next day, right? So we actually had an employee drive to Connecticut that night, stay overnight, get to the vendor at 7:00 in the morning the next day, standing there at the door when they open. He gets the material, and then he drives the whole way back, and we make the install that day. And so that is a point when I say we will go to any length. And to put it into perspective, it was like a $20 part that we were missing. Like, this is not
But it was
like some
a multi-million-dollar reputation.
Absolutely.
Right? So
it was more than the part and more than the money.
It was
absolutely.
It was all of that. Yeah, and it just kind of goes to just the type of people that we have that say, I will do that. I will drive to Connecticut.
Nathan,
and
I
will
think
stay the night."
that very well may be worth a second IPA.
I think it is. I think it is.
Maybe.
Tell you what, we'll give you one
finish this
afterwards.
one
Yeah, you got to finish
Absolutely.
it first, I guess. Yeah. So, really great stuff, and that we touched on so much more in the podcast. But for the listeners and the viewers out there who want to learn more about your company, what's the best way for them to do that?
So you can check us out at classicrockfab.com.
Awesome. And that website link will be
ClassicRockFab.com.
below.
FAB,
earlier.
short for
Yeah,
fabrication.
or fabulous.
Or
Ooh.
I might have just thrown a marketing
actually,
idea to you.
Classic Rock Fabulous.
There
That
you
does
go.
sound
There you go,
really
Alex.
good.
I'm going to
I
collect a
actually really
royalty
like
for
that.
that
New change.
one. But
New
there
change.
you go.
I love change.
Well, again, there are so many great tips on our podcast with Alex. Don't miss it on our website at harrisburg.shrimptankpodcast.com. Next week on the Harrisburg Shrimp Tank, we're going to have Lisa Stokes, BP Entertainment. Right, Taylor?
Oh, she helps us find amazing talent. Our last function, she helped us hire some amazing talent. I'm excited. Been in the entertainment industry for a while. Does big functions. I'm excited.
It's going to be great stuff. So don't miss that. Again, check out Alex at his website, classicrockfab.com. We'll see you next week on the Harrisburg Shrimp Tank.
I've been feeling like a shark in a shrimp tank. Big fish, small pond.